Welcome to the couch. My name is Pratt. Now, over the last few days, we have all of us in Ghana have been involved in one big debate, the hair debate. Normally when you hear the hair debate, it's normally about something else. To be honest, I like this hair debate because there's so much talk about, I tend sometimes to be a bit non-conformist, and so anything that seems to want to challenge the status quo, I like. And so I like where this is going. I like, all the angles it's taken. If for nothing at all, I think that we'll come out of this better informed, and perhaps we'll have some finality, to some of these issues that have raged on for years and years and years. This is not an issue of today. It's always been an issue. This hair issue and the link between hair and education, and perhaps the most important question, if it's a prerequisite for education. This is our conversation tonight. I have with me in the studio special guests, who I know are very able and capable to have a meaningful debate, because this is what this is going to be, a nice debate. I have with me in the studio Mr. Kofi Kakraba Pratt. He happens to be the Executive Director of Governance and Public... I'll take that again. He is the Executive Director of World Africa Rights Nexus, right? He's the Executive Director of World Africa Rights Nexus. He is a Governance and Public Policy Analyst. Good evening, Mr. Pratt.
Good evening.
It's great to have you.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Always great to have you in the studio. I have with me also seated in the studio Achimota Bosco Okansi. He happens to be president of the Rastafarian Council of Ghana. Hello, sir.
Hi.
You're welcome.
My pleasure.
It's nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Also with us in the studio is the parents, the father of Ohineba Kweku Nkrabea, one of the two students who have been affected in all of this saga. He happens to be Ras Oswald Nkrabea. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Always a delight.
Oh, give thanks. Thank you very much. Likewise.
Always.
Give
right.
thanks.
So let me quickly state that, the panel here, some I'm a little too familiar with. let me quickly issue my caveat that I'm very familiar with. It's only Mr. Okansi that I'm meeting for the first time, but Ras Oswald is a comrade. We go like this. He's part of the family, and Mr. Pratt is literally part of the family. He is the family. So very interesting. And let me also state immediately that the views are very different. Very different views. So it's going to be very interesting. Right. Let's start from the top, because I want to understand exactly what happened.
Okay.
What is the school's position when you took, and I'm starting with you, Ras Oswald, when you took Ohineba Kweku Nkrabea to the school, what happened?
Okay. When we were told that it's time for us to actually go through the processing of the documents of the school, we took him there 3 or 4 days before the 18th. And because they didn't have... You see, when they're actually communicating with the parents, they communicate with the parents in a condescending kind of a way. So basic little details they don't explain, and they don't care whether they explain it properly or not. So you find that a few sheets and information was left out. So my child's mother kept going back and forth, go photocopy this, and they have to go in town to photocopy this and do so many things. So it took them 3 days to actually process the paper because of the inefficiency. So after those 3 days, we finally completed. Then we were told to come back on the 18th to bring the child, bring all the items and stuff like that to actually have them put in storage, because he's a day student, he's not boarding. So they was going to put it in storage until he comes back on the official date when the school is supposed to start, which is, I think, is this Monday. When he brought all the items and went to the table or the desk or whatever it was that they were actually doing it, I heard him telling his mother that you're not allowed in this school because you have dreadlocks. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I was even though those 3 days I were there before, we kept hearing it from different parents. I even met a teacher there who has beautiful dreadlocks, and she has 3 children, and none of those children can go to that school. And she's teaching other people's children. And none of our children can go to that school. It's so shameful. So when I heard that, I said, no, let me go up there and find out what's happening. Because, I mean, my reference point and where I'm coming from, these things are unheard of. Whether I'm in the UK, I'm in the United States, whether the person is black or white, and this kind of discrimination is taking place, I'm going to react. It's unusual for me. Very, very unusual. Maybe it's not that unfamiliar to a lot of people here, but for me personally, because of where I grew up and the kind of racism and prejudice that we have seen, it just normally triggered off about me immediately. So I went up there to find out what was going on. And they said, sir, your child is not welcome in this school because of his dreadlocks.
Who said this?
They have some staff there that was actually processing the children. I don't even know the name or whether they are teachers or
their
what.
position.
Yes, I didn't know the position or anything.
Okay.
So I said, who authorized this? They said, you have to go to the administration. So I went up there to see the headmistress. And they kept telling me, oh, she's in a meeting. I keep going back and forth, oh, she's in a meeting, she's in a meeting. I always a whole lot of time trying to do that. So I said, okay, let me try the assistant headmaster. So I went downstairs to see the assistant headmaster, and I finally got a chance to see him. And I asked him, is it true that my child cannot come here because of his dreadlocks? And he said yes. I said, my child has gotten aggregate 10, and you're telling me that because of his dreadlocks you will not accept him? He said yes. Then he said to me, look, you're not the first, and you won't be the last. We did it last year, and we did it the year before, and some of the parents took us to court, and we won. So when he said that, I said, if that is the case, then we're going to take it to court, because I want to see if the court system in Ghana, if there's an integrity in the judicial system in Ghana, because this cannot be right when I look at the Constitution. How can a court can give you justice for something like this, and you are boasting?
Okay, so this is what I want us to do. What do you find so unacceptable about this?
Okay, they are violating the rights of the child or the children, because the Constitution allows freedom of religion and culture. So they are a lawless set of people as far as I see them. They are breaking the laws with and in a very condescending kind of way, and a way as if to say they don't care. And this is how they conduct themselves. And I was very hurt by that. So I left after he went on like that. But after I got to I took my son home. After I took him home, I said, no, let me go back and let them give me a written letter saying that they have rejected them. So I went back to the school. So when I went back to school, I saw a young Rastafari boy there and his father. So I asked them what they're doing there. They said that his son has aggregate 6 and they rejected him because of his dreadlocks. So I said, okay, wait a minute until I come back out of this office, because I'm going to go in there and find out what is going on here. So I went in there to discuss my issue. And when I went in there, the gentleman said he's not going to give me anything written because he's not going to commit himself. So I said, fine, you let me have your name. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not giving you my name, and I'm not giving you a phone number. And this is kind of disrespect. This is kind of unprofessionalism and prejudice that takes place in that school. So I had no other choice than to leave. So when I left there, I told the gentleman, you go in, and then when you come back out, explain to me what happened when you went in there. When he went in there, it was basically the same thing. Right. So they turned him away. So I said, no, we have to join together and take a class action as last suit against the school. Because this is robbing you of your rights. This is robbing you of your dignity as a Ghanaian. And we should never sit down and allow people to trample on our dignity like that. So I was very, very upset. Just like you see right now, I'm very upset, because I cannot think that an African person, an African institution that call themselves Christian or call themselves spiritual or religious would do that to another human being. Children at that. And these children are brilliant children who, when you look at the names of the people who came through that school, from Kwame Nkrumah all the way down to Robert Mugabe, etc., 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 in that school, and they came out to contribute to society. You don't know what these children is going to do for this society, and you're going to look at them and treat them as if to say they are not human beings. So I was very upset, just like you see me right now. I'm still upset because I cannot believe that human beings who consider themselves spiritual and have Christian values and all of that would do something like that to another human being. So that is one of the reasons why I decided to take it to court, and I am going to take it. The court has to fail me
Have you
first.
started the process?
We'll finish filing by Friday.
Okay. By Friday?
By Friday, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me come to you. I keep calling Mr. Okanse. Is that okay?
People call me Daddy Boss.
Daddy Bosco.
Oh, that Bosco.
That's,
I didn't see
yes,
you with
so you're aware.
I didn't see you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let me come to you. So, actually, no, let me go back and come back. Because I want to understand, why are we keeping the dreadlocks?
Okay, my children, they were born with it. All my children born with dreadlocks. I have 3 boys born in Ghana. 1 11, 1 13, and this one is 16. And they were born with it. They're born under the cultural upbringing of Rastafari, right? And I am a Rastafari. So I grew up with that, right? And the severe Bible told you must grow the child in the way you know he's supposed to grow, so that he does not depart from it. So we believe in that philosophy. We believe in teaching the child until he reaches a certain age. Then he can do whatever he wants to do from there. But you must guide him to what you know, not what somebody else telling you to do, because he's under your care and protection. So we feel that the child should have his locks, because even though you hear the song saying that you don't have to be, you don't have to dread to be a Rasta, it's a fallacy. And the reason why I'm saying it's a fallacy is that when you see someone out there who don't have locks, you cannot tell whether they are Rasta. And the worst thing about it is that that person will never experience what it's like to be a Rasta when they don't have the dreadlocks.
Thank you. Let me bring in Daddy Bosco at this point. And you are president of the Rastafarian Council of Ghana. Educate us. What is it about the dreadlocks? Why is the dreadlocks so important to the Rastafarian community?
Good. To appreciate Rastafari, you'll have to go to the genesis of the whole thing. Now, these are brothers and sisters who were taken against their desire, against their will, headed into ships and taken forcibly out of Africa hundreds of years ago. Now, from the first day they landed in the so-called New World, the desire to return has been present. So we know of the story of Kunta Kinte, etc. Fast forward to contemporary times, they've been freed, let me put it that way. Then they realize we are strangers where we are. Where are we from? We're from Africa. How do we identify with Africa? So with the coronation of Haile Selassie in 1930, that was something for black people globally to celebrate. You need to contextualize your thinking to appreciate this thing. So black people at that time were seen to be nobodies in the world, let me put it that way, because the whole of Africa was colonized. For Ethiopia to have a king who traced his ancestry to King David was a source of pride and joy. So that birthed the revolution, or that birthed the movement. Now, in history, if you go to Uganda and those areas, and then Kenya, the Mau Maus fighting colonialism had dreadlocks. That's the second point. If you are a Christian and you read your Bible, you will appreciate that dreadlocks is in the Bible. So the joke my friends make is, hey, so if something were to go to Achimota today, they will reject something.
Absolutely.
And they claim. So that is the essence of Rastafari. It is a search to identify with Africa. Now His Excellency Nanado goes and says, beyond the return, come and let's rebuild Africa. And then this young man or another person comes with their family who are Rastafari. And then you tell them, oh, here, dear, we don't do this. We don't. It's so disturbing. So you need to understand where Rastafari is coming from. The pride in African culture, which is manifesting today. And then for Africans to turn around and say, look, we don't take this. The funny part of this is these standards of civility and finesse, etc., are all Eurocentric. So you need to be clean-shaved. You need to be And we're measuring Africans by European standards. And look, a kid who gets 10 A's, in certain families, they do a party for that child. Child wants to go to one of the leading schools. And then it's like a slap in his face. This is his religion. This is all he knows from his childhood. This is how he's been brought up. Only to grow and be told your religion is not accepted here. On what basis? So I just want us to appreciate where Rastafari is coming from. And the injustice, I don't know if it's an appropriate word, that we're doing to the faith of Rastafari. More so in this time when Ghana is positioning itself as the Black Star of Africa, as the home for diasporans. The message is pretty contradictory. And somebody somewhere has to act.
Okay, now let's go back to something Ras Oswald said earlier about this thing about you can't be Rastafari without the hair. And we've had somebody like Ras Mubarak come out and say that I am Rastafari, but you know, he doesn't have any hair. Of course, we've had what his Ras Oswald's position is. What do you see? You are president of the council.
Yes.
So you have both the haired ones and the non-haired Rastafari.
What it is I liken Rastafari and dreadlocks to the police. So you have policemen who are in uniform. You see them, they are visible. And you have policemen who are in plain clothes.
Right.
That is how, from where I sit, I describe the whole faith. Because there's people who, for one reason or the other, they are not carrying dreadlocks. But like Brother Aswa said, it is the dreadlocks that is the outward manifestation of our faith. And then somebody said, why don't you let the children cut their hair and then after they school them? That is the worst ignominy. You know why?
Tell us why.
Because somebody's faith, you're suddenly telling him, put your faith like
on hold.
On hold.
Yeah.
What are you doing to that child? This is how his father has brought him up. Do not lie. Do not steal. Do not do this. Be principled. And then suddenly, somebody somewhere who is wearing, with all due respect, Peruvian hair, is telling that child that you, the way your dad is brought you up, to be so smart and intelligent and get 10 A's, you are out.
Right.
I think the contradictions are just too much.
Right. Right. Let's invite you in at this point, Mr. Pratt, because you have a contrary position to all of this. So react to some of these things and I'll come to you with my questions.
First of all, greetings to your viewers. I'm very fortunate. Today is the birthday of Nana Nkrabia, one of the boys.
Oh, yes.
My son.
Yes.
Yeah, your son. Today is his birthday. Nana Ohiniba Kweku Nkrabia. Today is his birthday. Ohiniba, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Now, I've been listening to both of you, and I have some sympathies and some understanding of what is going on. I would want my son to go to the best school in the world, irrespective of whether he's a Rastafarian, whether he's a Christian, whether he's a Hindu, or anything of that sort. But if I choose a school, and I suspect that having gone through all the schools available, you saw that Achimota, you've said it yourself, Achimota is a very good school. It has had Kwame Nkrumah go there, Robert Mugabe go there, Kofi Annan, former President Jerry Rawlings, they've all gone to those schools. So you look at all that and say, well, this must be a good school. Now, if it's a good school, I'm going to choose this school for my son. Because I know my son is very good, and if he goes to this school, it will enhance him, and he'll come out and perform better. Or even contribute to society better, like the way Nkrumah, Mugabe, and others have. Okay. So you go through all that, and you choose the school because it's an institution of excellence. It has discipline, it has tradition, it has all those things that appeal to you. But then once you choose the school accepts you, and the school tells you that this is what we do for people to be part of us. Then you say, no, the school must change to accommodate me. Even though you chose the school because of all that. And they are telling you that, yes, we have accepted your son, but these are rules and regulations of the school. This is what makes us excellent. This is what makes us very good for everybody wanting to come here.
Right.
Then you said, no, I'm not going to accept that. Now, by saying, no, you are not going to accept that, unfortunately for me and where I sit, it is not the school that has denied the child the education, but it is the parent that is denying the child the education. Because, look, if you say that having dreadlocks is a manifestation of Rastafarianism, I agree. And before we go different, let me state that I have a son who is Rastafari.
Right.
He's in Finland at the moment, and after studying paramedics, he decided to join the Finnish army.
Today is his birthday.
Today is his birthday too. Jojo, happy birthday in Finland.
Yes.
Today is his birthday too. Now, Finland is one of the political correct capitals of Western Europe. And he wanted to join the army and serve in the army. He had to cut the dreadlocks to be accepted to serve in the army. Now, every place has rules that we have to accept. Right. Now, I've heard people quote part of the Constitution to say the child is entitled to freedom of expression.
He has a right to education.
Yes, the child has a right to education. So, Achimota School has no right to deny him that education. You, as the father, have no right to deny him that education. By insisting that you will not let your child go to school without the dreadlocks, you are denying the child education. That is if you want your child to go to Achimota, because that is one of the rules that Achimota has. Right. Now, who is the most visible apostle or proponent of Rastafarianism in the world that everybody knows? Bob Marley. That's why I was showing you the photograph. Bob Marley, can you pick this up? This is Bob Marley at 18 years old. This is Bob Marley. Bob Marley had to cut his dreadlocks to have an education.
No, he didn't have dreadlocks in the beginning. Bob Marley grew his dreadlocks in his 20s.
And he didn't have parents
And
like
he didn't
us.
have parents like
He didn't have parents.
No,
He didn't have parents.
His father was an absentee white man.
Okay.
Yes.
And his mother was a teenaged
Yes.
girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bob Marley grew up, and until his 20s,
Yeah.
Okay.
that he embraced the faith
Fine.
of Rastafari.
Even if that is the case, because
Yeah.
you've educated me on that. But did that stop Bob Marley from becoming the apostle of Rastafarianism? It didn't.
No.
It didn't.
No.
He had his education, he became popular, he became
Right.
whatever he wanted to become,
Right.
and he grew the dreadlocks when he embraced it. Now, sometimes we as parents decide things for our children. By the time they've reached 20, 25, whatever, they've
Yeah.
changed. They are no longer interested in that. I went to what we call Tuba when I was in class 3.
Yeah.
Because my father's parents were Muslims, I became a Muslim I was very young, in class 3. I was about 9 years old. I went to Tuba to become a Muslim. I went to some of my friends. I ended up joining the Jehovah's Witness sect. Then eventually I went to back to my father's own church at that time, which we had become a Christian. It was an Anglican church.
Right.
Then later on I went to Calvary Baptist Church. Then I became some sort of osofo or a priest at the Bible Church.
Wow.
And today I don't know what I am. Today I don't know what I am. So sometimes we as parents put our children in jackets. Right? And then they grow up and we've confused them so much. So why is it that we will not allow the child at this stage to have his education, have a very good brain as to what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. So when he reaches the age of 21 or age of majority, which is 18, he can decide that I want to go to what my father used to do. I want to build the dreadlocks. I want to do whatever the way I want to. Why do we have to put the child?
So here's a question I have for you.
Yes.
Whatever religion a child may be, be it Christian, Muslim, Rastafari, whichever one, there are some principles.
Yes.
Which is, for me, the strongest argument here.
That is correct.
And the question that Daddy Bosco asked for me is so instructive. What are you telling the child? If you are telling him that for a period. You can put it on hold and it's okay.
No, that is not what you are doing. You are telling the child that for the next 2-3 years, you need an education. Achimota School is here to give you that best education. Now, the rules that we have are not for Rastafaris alone. It
Can I ask
for
a question? Because this is supposed to be a conversation.
Let's have a conversation.
So there are pictures of Caucasian ladies
I was going to go there.
wearing long hair
Yes.
in Achimota. How is that explained?
This is the first time I am hearing of it.
Right.
I don't have any evidence of it, and I don't know about
Hopefully
it.
it will show
I don't know about it. If there are any Caucasians in Achimota School with long hair, which is breaking the school regulation, then the school is doing something wrong there. But we are discussing this issue today in relation to Nkrabia and his other friend.
Right.
Okay, and I have no.
Well,
so there we go. Look at them there. These are students.
These are students of
Achimota.
Achimota.
The one in the middle is actually
dreadlocks. Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've not seen this.
So let's discuss this a bit. Is this double standards, or is it because their skin is white? Or for all you know, they're children of diplomats?
Daddy Basco, let me come in right here.
Yes.
No, you know, one of the things when Empress asked you about Rastafari, you went into the historical analysis of it. I would like to go into the historical analysis of
But also, please speak up a little.
yeah, I would like to go into the historical analysis of the school, because maybe you don't know the historical analysis of the school, right? Why the school was set up. Just like that, Basco went into the history of Rastafari. It says mission schools were established as early as the 16th century. They eventually appeared on almost every continent in the world and persisted in some regions to the late 20th century. These schools often adopt an evangelical and heavily denominational approach to religious education, with the intention of producing new teachers and religious leaders to propagate Christianity among the local population. That was the main intention, right? They also provided academic and vocational training and usually discourage traditional practices of the local people. This is what they're doing right now, you know. They are discouraging Africans from expressing themselves culturally. Ghanaians, Africans, right? So it's a continuation of that colonial legacy that the Bascos talk about in terms of the foundation of Rastafari, right? Of local people. Mission schools were sometimes government funded, right? What this actually is explaining right now from what I'm telling you is that it is intentional to carry on the legacy of colonialism against Africans, Ghanaians, and that's one of the reasons why I'm objecting to it, mainly because of that. They have a logo. You see this logo? Do you know what it means?
Yes.
Tell me what it means.
It is the keys of the pianos.
Yes, and what's the symbolism of it?
It's the black and white keys working together.
Exactly. Yeah. So it means that the children in this society must work in harmony and peace, right?
Yes.
And they are going against this logo, the symbol, because they are saying that because you are not Christian, you cannot participate in this school and express your cultural.
I don't think that is what.
No, hold on. No, but this says it. This says the reason why the mission school was established, and they are carrying on that legacy, right? And this is the reason why I see that hostility, because it was intended to be that way, was to colonize Africans and to take them out of their tradition and their culture and give them Western value system, right? So that is why it is so offensive to them when they see a dreadlocks Rasta child stepping up in the school, right? So this is the main reason why the issues is going on right now. Until we get rid of that colonial mentality and the intention why those rules and guidelines that they have set up there was established, that it has to go.
Okay. Would you choose a Presbyterian secondary school for your son and go there and insist that Presbyterian practices are stopped because of your son.
If it goes against the Constitution, yes, I would do it.
But this does
Okay,
not,
so
this does not go against it.
Yeah, if
So
it
let's
goes
talk
against the
about
Constitution, I will do it.
Let's talk about the Constitution, right? Let's go straight into the Constitution. Let's have a constitutional angle of the conversation as well. What does our Constitution say about this? Every child has a right to education,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
For me, that's basic, isn't it?
Yes. That every child has a right to education.
Absolutely.
Very, very basic.
Right.
It does not mean that the school cannot make rules and regulations that helps it to maintain its excellence, maintain discipline, maintain the kinds of things that make the school what you want for the child. And that is also in the Constitution. If you read the Constitution,
Because
well,
I think you showed this to
I
me
showed it
earlier.
to you.
Yes, you showed this to me earlier about a section. I actually wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah.
A section of the Constitution that allows the school to make certain rules that the school deems would help children to conform. I wish you could find it. I need
oh, I'll find it. I have it here.
right. So as we find it, I would engage that.
Yeah, it's you see, some people think that the Constitution is a one-page document. It is not. It's a very big document, and you have to read it in totality.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people since this conversation have just quoting part of the Constitution and are leaving out Article 14, 1E, which is for the purpose of the education or welfare of a person who has not attained the age of 18 years, gives the school the right to set such rules in furtherance of education. If from the beginning it says that every person shall be entitled to his personal liberty, and no person shall be deprived of personal liberty except in the following cases and in accordance with procedure permitted by law. And that is what it says there.
Okay, you just said that the Constitution is big and broad,
It's big and broad.
there are different sections of
Sections.
it.
Now, you have to put all
only,
the sections
no, you
together.
only stop at 14. I'm going to give you 21.
Yes, give me 20.
Article 21. 1. All persons shall have the right to freedom to practice any religion and to manifest such practices. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, practice such
Yes.
practices.
Yes.
So what do you say about that?
How does the child sticking to the school rules and regulation stop him from practicing his religion?
Okay.
The school is not saying that the child cannot be a Rastafarian.
Let me
Okay? Wait, the school is not saying the child cannot be a Rastafarian. The school is asking, like all the other students that I know, to have that particular type of hair.
Except
Wait.
those pictures we saw.
So let's have this. Let's have this
let's-
hair conversation. For me, this is the biggest part of
This is the biggest
Yes,
part of
yes,
this
the whole
yes,
conversation.
conversation.
yes.
As a girl who had to cut her hair throughout her education,
Yes.
I've never understood this policy or this rule. The junior secondary school that I went to, in preparing us for senior secondary school, already had us cut our hair.
Yes.
Because they didn't think that it was necessary to grow your hair
Yeah.
and then have to cut it in secondary
Yeah.
school. But I have friends who came to secondary school with beautiful hair. In fact, I have white friends who came to my secondary school with beautiful hair. Now, the headmistress and everybody watching would, bear me witness. Often, Man Girls Secondary School, Mrs. Coffee did not play. She didn't care if you were white, black, whatever. She would cut your hair.
Right.
A rule that she operated
Across the board.
across board universally. And when that happens, there's very little you can say. I have a problem with this selective application of the law.
I have a
But
problem
that's
with
a
this.
different
I have a problem with
conversation.
this selection as well, if it exists.
My
But
question,
it has to be applied
Right.
across the
My
board, and
question
I have no
is,
problem with that
Uncle
at all.
P, why do we insist on cutting hair? What's the point? Why?
It's part of that colonial thing
Why?
to belittle us as black people. I'm coming. So you realize that if you go into the recruits army, the first thing they do is what? And they say the hair is the glory of a person. They trim you down. They cut you down to size. Now, let me just do a small tangential move.
Yeah.
So, Akuras, the president of Akuras comes out and says, this. Then Joel, and with due respect, so as I'm watching, I'm like, is this in a generational thing? Because Joel Neti is the vice president of international advertisers. So his worldview is different from my respected prof. Prof, interest of we're going Charlie. But Joel comes and says, the Rastafari community has to engage with stakeholders to ensure that this problem is resolved. So that's what I'm saying. And so Black Rasta was on radio and was saying, oh, this statement by the head of Akuras is by him and his friends because he has seen Joel's statement, and Joel is the vice president of the Akuras. And Joel, I'm a bit older than Joel. So he's in that generation who have gone to America and their classmates are dreadlocks. So he's realizing there's the need for a paradigm shift. But he just doesn't want to be that blunt. Council, engage with stakeholders, because for him, this thing is not rocket science.
Right.
The same way the authorities use their discretionary powers to say you're a white girl, because your father or your mother is this, you can come with your dreadlocks, sit here. You, with your long hair and this thing. But you, these black boys and girls, go and cut your hair. You see? This thing, our children may not go to the school because Achimota is an institution.
Yeah.
And so they will fight us tooth and nail. That's why the GES Director General issued a statement on Saturday. On Monday, he had done a U-turn.
Yes.
Because
we are going to come there. I just want us to have the
okay, so I'm building a point.
Why are we cutting the hair of our...
Oh, I've said it already. Is to subjugate black people.
But I don't agree with you. But because it is not only in Black Africa or it's not only in Ghana that when you go into the army they cut your hair.
It's a discipline thing to control people.
Yeah, if you say that, yes, but if
that sounds like breaking people.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
But the thing is that
that's exactly what it is.
Has the right to put measures in place that helps it to ensure discipline. The same discipline that brings out the kind of people that you admire so much that you chose the school for your son to go to.
Right.
Now, Kwame Nkrumah didn't have dreadlocks. In fact, part of his head didn't Mugabe didn't have dreadlocks. And most of the people that I know that you have mentioned didn't have dreadlocks.
That's right.
And they went to the school and they did excellently and contributed to society.
Yes.
Why can't you allow your son the same privilege? I don't agree with you when you say that the children may not go to Achimota. I want the children to go to Achimota. I want them to go through the same kind of discipline, the same kind of...
all I just want for them to be treated like those ladies we saw on the screen wearing dreadlocks. That is an exception to the rule.
You know, Daddy Basket, I would like to...
That's a very valid point. You see,
Of course.
by selective...
Of course.
No, I already told you that I'm against any kind of selective... any rule. Because the lady you mentioned, Mrs. Crawford, is my auntie. And I know she will take the scissors herself and cut the hair. Everybody, doesn't matter whether you are a president of another country who sent your daughter to Ghana to study, she will cut your hair because that is the rule. And that rule must apply to everybody. There is a way that institutions use initially to help them to deal with discipline. And this may be one of them. If there is selective justice and you want to go to court over it, yes, you have my support on that. But to say that the school has no right to make that rule, and because of that they are depriving your son of an education when they are not, at the moment, from where I am sitting, you are the one that is depriving.
I am happy that you came back. I am happy.
You haven't answered my question. And you see, as a girl, this is very important to me. Perhaps I'm going to introduce an angle that you all will not agree with, but I'm still going there.
Because it's not only boys who cut their hair.
I think that the hair question is but even more important to girls
of course.
Boys. And we have to go through it. And nobody ever thinks there's a problem with it. We've been forced to cut our hair for centuries. Nobody has ever said anything.
We Rastafari, we see a major problem with it because there are so many issues that thing causes. Because one is that when you reach a certain age, like 18 and you come out of school, you want to have that fancy, long, nice hairstyle and so on, and because it cannot go overnight, you have to wear a wig, you have to wear earpiece. It becomes expensive and it becomes an economical burden to the country. Foreign exchange.
You're talking about using hair as colonialism. Now you're talking about wig. Where did the wig come from?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. It's making is valid.
Yeah, it's valid.
Okay, let me explain why.
Yeah, it's valid.
See, in secondary school, in your final year, and most people watching, send messages if I'm lying, send messages, say, we like to store our hair as girls because it's your final year and you know that in a year you're leaving school, you're going to want to grow your hair. So most of us like to store our hair in the final year. So what we do is you scarf it so it looks smaller than it looks compact.
Okay.
So you find every girl in her final year scarfing her hair, trying to keep her hair compressed. Now, if you're unlucky and the lines show, they'll cut your hair.
Wow.
That's how bad it is.
Wow.
So this is a repressive law that has existed forever.
Yes.
I left secondary school, I went to secondary school in the 99, I think. So this has been, and my thing is, why have we all sat down as if it's not an issue? Why are we now having the conversation when this has been going on since?
You know why?
Let's talk.
Because the average Ghanaian prefers to suffer in silence.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So did you prefer to suffer in silence?
Yeah, but that's
She's not average. But she's not average.
Pratt,
She's not average.
If it wasn't for this show, she wouldn't have made these revelations today.
Yeah.
We have a choice.
You know, it is, and that's why for some of us, this thing is so liberating. And that's why I said, even if, God forbid, our children don't go there, we've initiated a conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
Which will go to the core of our values. As African people, as Ghanaian people, should we always ape Eurocentric standards of beauty and finesse, or we should start having a conversation on what our values should be? Now, let me just do a small thing. So we go to a Supreme Court, and we have national and formal. So this is national. You can dress this way to Parliament, because that is how it is. Otherwise, you wear suit and tie. And somebody is asked, why are you not in suit and tie? So I'm saying our values as a people, our appreciation of beauty, finesse, etc., we have to reassess. Otherwise, sooner than later, I don't know where we're going to be.
We are being told that we are not good enough.
That's it. Exactly.
That
Inferiority complex.
That is it.
Inferiority complex.
Hair is not good enough.
That is not the case.
Okay, what is the case?
If you go to some parts of Ghana, we actually cut our hair to look beautiful.
Right.
It's as part of our custom.
Right.
That's right. Crime.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. If you go to Volta, they cut their hair, they call them diving, and they look extremely beautiful.
That's right.
Now, why are you saying now that is for somebody to try and control you, colonize you?
If the people cut it themselves.
But the point is not where
it is
forced upon you.
It is forced on you. For instance, this young boy who has passed Achimota, the basic criteria to go there is to get good grades.
Yes.
Kid has gotten good grades. Now someone comes and says, because of what your father says, you're a Rasta and your hair, we will not accept you. So let me finish. So go and cut your hair and come. So this kid has grown up from childhood, has been taught that this is the vision, or this is the image of Africa. This is how Samson in the Bible looked like. Then suddenly, at a crucial junction in his life, he's told, no, you cannot go further. You'll have to go back and reinvent yourself. It is dehumanizing, it is traumatic, and it shouldn't be tolerated.
Well, I think it is dehumanizing because of how we adults play it. This Nkrabia would have gone to school, asked to cut his hair, he would have cut his hair, gone to lectures, had his grace to go to the university.
Let me come in.
It's the school rule. Why did he choose Achimota?
Okay, let me come in with the rules.
Why did he choose
Let me answer that with the rules.
Yes.
Because
I was
continuing where the Constitution is concerned. I'm going to conclude. It says
you have read
school has the right to make rules, but the rules must conform to the spirit and letter of the Constitution as stated in Article 12, Clause 2. Here is Article 12. Every person in Ghana, whatever his race, place or origin, political opinion, color, religion, and have religion big and bold.
Yes.
Religion, creed or gender shall be entitled to the fundamental human rights and freedom of the individual contained in this chapter, but subject to the respect for the rights and freedom of others and for the public interest.
Yes.
That is 12,
That's
right?
very, very clear.
So what I'm saying to you is that when you read the Constitution, as you said, you cannot just stop at one without relating the others, right? And that is given to them so that they have that right to express. You see, the religion is big and bold, right? So if their religion says this or says that, then it should not be violated.
No.
Listen,
Hi.
the rule that Achimota Secondary School has is for everybody who wants to go to Achimota.
Yeah.
Which is not discriminatory. It's for everybody. You, whether you are Sikh, whether you are Hindu, whoever, it has to be the rules of Achimota School. And like I'm saying, you have chosen Achimota School because of all the goodies and all the things. I understand what you're saying about haircut and so on, but those are the
My
rules.
question is, does it serve as well? This rule that we have
And
that
does
people
it
need
not
to cut
serve-
their hair, does it, what's the point?
The point is that the school believes.
But the school authorities believe that they want to enforce discipline. And the way to enforce discipline is to ensure that in some cases, or in all cases, in this case, I would say in all cases,
Right.
All the children have this kind of
Low-cut hair.
low-cut hair and so on. I have told you, and I'm saying again, if some exceptions have been made without the school not telling us why, that I am against it.
But do you?
I was not aware of that before I came here. You have told me for the first time.
Right.
But the thing is that, does the school have the right to make those rules? Yes, it does.
But it has to be in the spirit of the Constitution.
In the spirit of the Constitution.
Right.
The Constitution says it's subject to law. Subject to law. So where the school has the right to make those rules and regulations that is subject to the Constitution, it can do so.
As long as it's not violating.
Let's move forward with this debate. Now, let's move forward because I'm looking through all of the stuff that I have here, and now even former directors of education of Ghana have different opinions.
Yes.
So we have two former directors of the Ghana Education Service holding two different opinions about the same issue. So I think that if it's about having a debate, we'll probably debate till tomorrow. What's the way forward?
Yeah, I agree. I think Charles Ahetochega,
Yes.
former director,
Yes.
he suggests that the lady should be fired.
Yes.
And then Mr. Michael Insua, who is also former director of the same position,
Right.
supports Achimota to say Achimota has not done anything wrong
Right.
So it means that there has to be a resolution.
of this.
Right.
Now, I don't think the way forward
Is to keep the child in the house whilst academic business has started. I think today, school reopened today.
Right.
Yeah, school reopened today.
Right.
Unfortunately for him, at the age that he is, he's not like me. Me, even if I put fertilizer on my hair, nothing will come.
I think that we should put the interest of your child first.
Because dreadlock is a manifestation of the religion. It is not the religion. Now, if you look, these days, there are so many women who do dreadlocks who do not even know that it's a manifestation of a religion.
Yeah.
True.
Technically, it has become a fashion.
Sure.
Yeah.
It has become a fashion. So, should the school allow fashion to develop? Because somebody will say, he has done it, he's there, so me too, I'm a Rastafarian, I'm starting dreadlocks. It creates a lot of problems.
And he would have his right. Exactly, he would have his right because his culture. He's an African. He's an African. He's an African. That's his right. Exactly. Exactly. It's his
We want
right.
everybody in the school to be like
The Constitution gave him his right.
then why are you complaining? Because not everybody in the school can be the same.
Same. Not everybody in the school can be the same. Is that not the
And
case?
I fail to understand.
You don't understand the fact that
The school says, for as far as we can, we want everything to be uniform. What is the use of the uniforms that we
where the identification of Achimota, crest, and so on,
Right.
we want there to be uniformity, and for us, it helps us to maintain discipline.
But Uncle Pratt, you remember I gave you the history of the school, why the rules was established?
Yes.
It's a colonial rule to suppress Africans and to rob them of their integrity and dignity. That's the whole purpose of that rule that they are using. It came from the history of colonialism.
So the people who came out. If you go to all disciplines in Ghana, you have so many people from Achimota. I never went to Achimota. I went to Ghana Secondary School, a fantastic, fabulous school, and I'll go there again. I didn't go to Achimota, but
the same rules that have applied all these years. We've had Kwaninko. Okay. We've had Mugabe. We've had judges. We've had lawyers. We've had taxi drivers. We've had every kind of person on board.
You know something?
Except Rastafari.
I heard a statement made. It was a bit nauseating.
yes, let's hear it.
It was from Nana Kumia. And Nana knows I respect him tremendously. Nana said it's because Rastafari is not a recognized religion in Ghana. That is why we are going through this. And that statement is pretty interesting because Rastafari is not a recognized religion like Islam or Christianity. So the assumption is that if Rastafari were, quote unquote, a recognized religion, we wouldn't face this plight. I don't know what you think about that.
Oh, right. That brings me to a case in the United Kingdom where a Sikh, I don't mean somebody who is sick,
Indian Sikh,
took a case to the law lords,
and the ruling was Lord Denning, you can look it up, ruled that Sikhism was not a recognized religion, so it was ruled against the child to take off the turban. Even though for a Sikh, the turban is more the religion than anything else, but they lost the case in court. Now, my issue, apart from all that we are saying, is the argument from certain quarters that the school authorities or the school has no right or has no power
to make rules that govern the school's activities.
Do you understand? That is my major problem.
As long as it's in keeping the spirit of the Constitution, is fine.
The school has, and it has shown over the years, since 19 something, that kind of culture, that kind of tradition, that kind of rules and regulations has produced, in fact, Achimota has produced more presidents of Ghana than any other school.
And it has robbed them of a lot. It has robbed all those people of a whole lot that you are not looking at. Yes, of course.
Conscious, progressive leaders. Those are the types that we want.
Yes.
Yes. We agree. We don't want people who just pass through school and they have debts.
Exactly.
Let them get the education. Let them go through education and get the education. Let them come and contribute to society. Do you think
and that's a principle that the school should take.
Do you think that if your son
were to become a nuclear physicist or a medical doctor, or
he will not contribute to society because when he was 16 years,
Achimota asked him to cut his hair?
No, but he can achieve that with his dreadlocks. He can achieve that with his dreadlocks and more. Yes, exactly. So what you're actually saying is the dreadlocks is an ignorance to him learning? His achievement
does not prevent him from learning. Not having the dreadlocks does not prevent him from learning. The school is looking at other issues as well.
Like
part of it is discipline.
No, but look at the history. Look at the rules that is here that they're still carrying out. This colonial legacy.
Compliance with school rules and regulations goes to the heart of discipline,
and it goes against the spirit of the Constitution. It does.
If the school is allowed by the Constitution, which is the law,
but not robbing the people of their rights.
I've seen about that statement. I saw one this evening. I was going through a post about this issue, and on the comment section, somebody had written, oddity is distractive. Oddity is distractive. And I sat down and I said, my goodness.
Yes.
This is terrible.
Yes, yeah.
How can anybody
say something like that? Yes.
Oddity is distractive. Because then we can go straight back to slavery.
That's the mentality of the school. That's the mentality of the school. That same mentality.
Now, a friend of mine told me this morning that Rastafarianism was set up also to fight slavery and to protest
colonialism,
to protest against oppression and things and so on.
discrimination.
Yeah,
And I
yes.
keep asking myself, what type of slavery is at Achimota school that you and your colleagues...
No, it's not slavery. It's not slavery.
Rastafari didn't come to fight slavery, and we're not fighting slavery.
That's cool.
You see, what it is people lump arguments.
Yes.
And that is what is distracting from the fundamental issue of access to education. Unfettered access to education.
Right.
Otherwise, the Constitution would have brought in all sort of caveats and qualifications. It is explicit that every child has a right to education.
Perfect. I'm coming. That is not denying the child the right to education.
They have.
And they actually have the right. At the moment, you are denying your child right to education.
And every school may have a right to laws, rules and regulations, but these have to be in conformity.
Of course, with the spirit of the Constitution.
You know something? In Kenya, a parent tested the law and went to the Supreme Court, and the interpretation was clear. In Malawi,
yes.
That is why Joel is advising that before we even go to court, maybe we should engage with some stakeholders.
Yes.
So that reason.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes. Have a bit of ADI.
That's right. Yeah.
I will err on the side of caution and say, whilst we are doing all this, whilst we are trying to go to court, while we are trying to get, because of the Constitution, it may eventually end up at the Supreme Court for Supreme Court interpretation.
Yeah.
In the meantime, my beloved Ohimba is sitting at home.
No, he's not sitting at home. We are putting him in school by Monday. He will be going to school.
Okay, then that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which school will he go to? Would he go to Achimota?
No, he will not go to Achimota. They won't allow him. Yeah, they won't allow him to go to Achimota. Yes.
Because you chose Achimota, and the reason for choosing Achimota is one of the best schools that you wanted. I would have preferred that he went to Achimota.
But he cannot sacrifice his faith on the altar of convenience.
Right.
Yeah, but how about the faith of the child? That is your faith.
I'm coming over.
That is your faith.
You see,
the child deserves the best. Give the child the best.
And we are giving the best that we have. We are giving the best that we have.
Decide when he reaches there. He may even decide that.
Yeah, but until he gets 18 years old, then that should happen.
Until he gets to 18 years old, the Constitution allows the school to have rules and regulations.
And as long as
it does. You see, this is the question for me. Does it do?
It has.
The GS director, or one of them is saying the headmistress should be sacked.
And one of them,
and I agree with him.
And one of the directors, the same position is saying that the headmistress must be given an award. Yeah. So let us settle this matter.
She should be sacked. I agree with him. She should be sacked.
So let us settle this one properly. But in the meantime, I want Happy Birthday in Krabby again. I want him to go to school and start learning. He had 10 A's. That is fantastic. He can do anything he wants. He can become another Kwame Nkrumah, another Robert Mugabe, another Kofi Annan, another. So let us give him that opportunity. Don't let us use our hang-ups on our faith and all that to deny our son.
No, Uncle Pratt. That's the reason why we are putting him in school very soon. For the same reason why you are saying. Yeah. That's the reason why we are doing it. We're not have him sitting at home.
Yes. So put him in school. In fact, I would have preferred that he went to Achimota. I would have preferred that he did the shave like my son did in Finland.
Why?
And my son, it was not only him because he was a black person that he was asked to cut his hair to join the army. The Finnish army. Yeah, the Finnish army. It wasn't because he was a black person. Right. It was for everybody who wanted to join the Finnish army. So, and you know that for people of that age, within 3 months, the hair is grown back.
He's gone back to dreadlocks.
And you know something.
And for what is, excuse me, it looks like Rastafaris would not want me to be part of their religion because I don't have hair. Because he said that at the beginning. Listen, am I telling a lie? He said that without the dreadlocks, you cannot. Then clarify that.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah, clarify that.
You can be a Rastafari without the locks, right?
Yes.
But you will never experience what it is to be Rastafari in the streets, because nobody will identify and recognize that you are Rastafari. And when you walk the street with the dreadlocks, if you ask these children, the way people respect them, the way people bow down to them and honor them when they see the dreadlocks, and there are also some that show them negative expressions. So you will never learn that if you don't have the locks.
Let me respond to that very, very quickly. you know, you have two uncles in the priesthood, isn't it? I have two brothers. One is an archduke in the Anglican Church. The one is a bishop in New Jersey. They wear cross as manifestation of their faith in Christianity, right? Are we, by this argument, saying that in the event of them not wearing the cross, they cannot identify themselves as Christians and they cannot perform their roles as archduke and bishop?
When somebody see them on the street, would they know that they belong to a religious person?
Does that matter? Should anybody see you in the street and identify you with a particular religion?
Let me say something. I think we are reducing such an important issue to appearances and things like that.
That is what my brother has
That's
said.
not what he's doing.
He is saying, this is my faith. This is how I've grown my children. Evidence is their academic performance.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I've known these kids since this thing. My children don't wear locks. But I've known these kids and I respect them. When you see them living the way they behave in public and everything, he's saying, this is the way I want to grow my children. Till they are 18 or so, they will have the right to do what you call it. Until then, I think we need to respect the parents' views.
I respect the parents' views.
Oh, Uncle Jumbo!
I respect the parents' views. I also want the parent to respect the institution that he wants his children to attend and become some people that he admires. And then let the child go to that school.
As long as in the spirit of the Constitution.
And then after that, once the matter is settled properly by a judicial decision, then it is settled once and for all. We all understand.
In the meantime, madam, investigate those pictures we
Yes, please do.
to see whether they are current or
We
archived.
have been given some explanation. The explanation has been that these are exchange students. That has been the explanation that has come through.
Oh, so we there because we are local.
We
It's not the color. They are exchange students.
That is what I mean.
Yes.
Because they are coming from foreign.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking color here.
So it means that if they were exchange students from Togo, they would be allowed the same. If they were exchange, you see, me, I want uniformity.
But that's wrong.
Sir, that is why you
Of course it's
you are
wrong.
looking
Of
for
course it's
a
wrong.
standard application of the law.
Yes.
So anybody coming into the school has to abide by the rules and regulations.
Do they have exceptions for exchange students who are not black, who are not white, who are not green, who are not yellow? Do they have exceptions for that? If they have exceptions for that, then are they breaking the rule? Their exceptions. If it means that if those people were Ghanaians or they were in Ghana, they were not foreign exchange
So we
students.
have two laws. One law for the expatriates or the exchange students.
No, it's not
and one law for
expatriates. It's not expatriates.
Are we
So I
not
corrected myself and
feeding-
said
Exchange
Are
students.
we not feeding into a stereotype, Uncle K? Are we not feeding into this stereotype
Yep.
where we treat people or we discriminate against people based on their appearance because of some assumptions? If you follow the arguments on social media, as people have been saying, for instance, that this one's own looks okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That one's own doesn't
Yes,
look
exactly.
okay. Isn't
The
that
same
just
dreadlock.
feed-
Yeah,
the same dreadlocks.
Isn't
Yes.
that feeding into stereotyping
Of
or
course.
discrimination based on appearance?
No, if you are discriminating against somebody because of religion, it is wrong.
How about appearance?
If the school says that I want everybody to appear the same, where is the discrimination? The school says, I don't care where you are coming from, except those who are exchange students who come for short periods. Short periods to do exchange. They don't come the whole 3 years.
And it's wrong. You know why I say it? Let me tell you why I say it's wrong. This is a multicultural society.
Yes.
And in order for us to live in peace and harmony, we must be able to have some harmony between the different cultures so that they can be peaceful. This is one reason why you have religious animosity all over the world. Because one religion wants to dominate the other with their own culture and their religious views.
Unless we are saying that if somebody is here for a short time, then our rules don't apply to the person. If you enter
That's what
Ghana,
we
you're
are
going to be
saying.
living in
Yeah.
Ghana for a short time, then you can flout traffic rules. You
Yeah.
can flout,
This is not traffic rules. This is
Exactly.
school. The Achimota is saying, if that is the explanation they've given you, that these are exchange students, it means they come for very short periods. They don't come for the whole academic period, and so they come for very short periods and go away. They are not actually considered students of Achimota.
Okay.
If that is the case, they are not considered as students of Achimota.
Now let me ask a question about how Achimota School has decided to engage on this issue. In terms of communication and PR, do you think that the posturing, even up until now, they have not issued any formal statement?
Right.
They have refused to engage.
That's right.
They've taken an entrenched position.
That's right.
Even GS directive, they're like, we will not, the GS cannot tell us what to do. Do you appreciate the way Achimota School, as an institution, state institution, has decided to engage in this issue?
I think Achimota School is represented by a few different types of organizations. One of them is the Parent Teacher Association.
Right.
The Parent Teacher Association has issued a statement today, and it's issued for the Parent Teacher Association and also for the school. So, what
the school though?
No, but the Parent Teacher
You
Association.
mean the whole students?
No, not the whole students.
Parent Teachers Association.
The chairman of the Parent Teacher Association has signed a statement issued by the Parent Teacher Association. The Parent Teacher Association is the parents, and then the teachers, that is the administration. So I will take that as a stronger statement coming from the school than one issued by, say, the assistant
headmistress.
Yeah, because they have, when they were having encroachment, Achimota School encroachment. Right. It was the Parent Teacher Association that was dealing with the public and issuing all the statements and so on.
How about this refusal to comply with the GS directive?
Yeah.
I understand now that the GS is
the GS doesn't have a directive. The GS has come to say, the GS said, go. They said, go back. So they come back to the middle. So is the GS, so I agree with you of the game. I agree with you that you want to test the law. You test the law.
Yes.
But in the meantime, give Ohiniba Nkrabia an education.
No, next week he will be in school.
Yes.
Next week he will be in school. And you may be surprised.
That's sad though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because you have denied him his rights. His rights is for him to go to that school. And you have taken it away from him.
Let me also remind you, in 2005, were you still at Legon at that time?
Yes.
2005, the Seventh-day Adventist students took Legon administration to court, the High Court.
Yeah.
Because, Seventh-day Adventists, they don't do anything on a Saturday.
Right.
Saturday is their Sabbath, they don't do anything. And University of Ghana was organizing exams on Saturdays.
Right.
So they took the university to court to say that the university was actually breaching their rights of religion and stopping them, because normally Saturdays they go to their church and so, but if you are, they have to write exams on a Saturday, they will not be able to. And they went to court.
Yeah.
And the court said that if that was allowed in court, what about if on Friday the Islamic students come and say, no, you can't use Friday for exams because that is our day, so you can't do it. Then on Sunday the Christian something association also comes that you can't have exams on Sunday. Then on Tuesday, fishermen, we don't do anything on Tuesday. Fishermen, we don't do anything on Tuesday. So they also say that, in that case, Tuesday should be out. You are crippling the university. You are crippling an educational institution. You are actually preventing an educational institution for providing education for our children. So it was thrown out. Let me give you another example. Just this past, is it Wasi you call it?
Yeah.
We used to call it Western Exams. They put 3 exams on a Saturday. And because 3 exams on fell on a Saturday, some students, with the open connivance of their family and organizations, said that no, it falls on Saturday, it's our holiday, so it must be postponed. West Africa Exams Council said this exam is for everybody on this particular day, so we won't postpone it. Now they have to wait in the house for a year. Was that worth it? Because they refused to take the paper because they thought it was going to be postponed. They refused to take it. And now they are sitting at home for 1 whole year. Is that worth it?
But should we allow institutions to hold us ransom like this?
They are not holding you to ransom if they are following the constitution. You can challenge it. If you want to challenge it the proper way. I'm not saying don't challenge it. I will support you. In fact, I'll come to court with you. I'll come to court with you. But challenge it the proper way.
What is the proper way? What is the proper way? What is the proper way?
Court.
Yeah, but we are going to court. By Friday we'll be filing.
Yes, so you see, you wanted your child to go to Achimota. You should have done all this research and found out what what Nkrumah and Mugabe went through. Right? So before you put
my brother,
choice.
Uncle Pratt.
Yes, my brother.
Culture is not static.
Yeah. No, it's
right?
not.
That
It's
generation did what they did. This is a new generation where things have to change. And the attitude and the direction that the school is going, it must change. And you're going to live and see the change.
If it changes, the law requires it to change, and it changes, I'll support it, because I'm a very law-abiding citizen. I respect the laws of this country, and everywhere that I go, I respect the laws. So if the Supreme Court rules or interprets the law that the school does not have the right to do that, anybody can go. You know, there is an argument that one of my elder friends, those they call Citizen Boachijan, I used to be a member of the he said he was an ancestral worshipper, and so the school allowed him his ancestral worship. Okay, now what that meant was that on Sundays when there was church service and things, he is not compelled to attend the church service. You can have that negotiations with the school where your son is not compelled to attend church service, but that's his own thing. They didn't build Citizen Wachijan a shrine to say because you're an ancestral worshipper, this is a shrine for you. Go and then if you want to go to lectures where the that thing we call mat, wear it around your waist, paint half of your face white, paint half of your face red, and carry the budia around and go to lectures. Which is what in effect we are asking for it to happen. Now I am still back to this thing. Have this thing resolved judicially. In the meantime, engage the school. You have somebody who is a sympathizer of you on the Akoras, the deputy president, Dual. He is an old student. He is sympathetic. You can use him as a point of contact. I'm not sure that any of the people there are monsters who will want to eat anybody up.
Because
if anything happens, the best thing to resolve it is to sit down and talk. But
how do you
exactly refuse to talk to you? Yes. You have an experience it. That's why you're saying it.
I've already suggested one of the avenues that you can use to talk. Do you know that you can actually go to court and compel an ADR? You can also go to court and say this one is going to take too long. My child's education is so important, so let me go to court and say this is not about the substantive issue. But compel the school to sit down with us and let us resolve this. Because I believe in resolution.
Of course, yes.
But you see, here's my thing. Because I've seen, again, I've tried to pick different opinions on this. I've really been active on social media trying to pick, and somebody said, one of these writers, that, people will talk as usual, that Ghanaians like to talk. We will talk, and this issue will blow over. And Achimota school would go back to doing what it does as usual.
Not if the matter has gone to court. Not if the matter has gone to court.
The court decides that, like it has done in the past.
So many times. So many times.
What happens? Because I think that is the
so many times.
Then
of course.
That position. If the Supreme Court rules that the school is right, the school is right. If the Supreme Court rules that the school is wrong,
but you know why? These are dangerous things. You know the reason why?
Yes.
Because when people don't get justice, they will rise up against the system. And they will burn the place and destroy, just like you see what happened in all those countries. Because when you're oppressed, you have no other choice than to resist.
Yes.
That's why you have religious animosity and war between religious people.
I agree, but one of the ways to resist is also use the courts.
Of course.
Right?
That's why we're going to court.
What fails, Uncle?
Yes, exactly.
Are you a law-abiding person? You are a lawyer. You are a lawyer. Why did you study law if you don't want to use the courts?
No, I'm saying, I agree, let's go to court. Yes. But there's a real possibility of this case not, for lack of better
So it means that when you are going to court, you are only going to court if and you only accept the results if you win.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the precedent that stands now has shown that, and you've given beautiful examples of all the times that people have failed in these instances. So looking at the probability of failing is high. If that happens, then what? Are we saying that because it has failed in court, this issue is not legitimate?
No, then let's go back to the drawing board and look at our arguments again. Let's look at our arguments. Let's look at how we can maximize our impact and get change. You don't get change just by getting angry. You don't get change just by getting angry. And by getting angry, if it denies something, especially to a child's future, we are not doing the right thing. We are not doing the right thing at all.
I want us to involve the viewers in it. There are lots of comments on our Facebook page. Let me see if I can read some of them. Tino O'Neill says, can't Ghana amend its constitution to suit its culture? Isn't it time? Right, isn't it true that the United Kingdom supervises your educational curriculum? Aya Akwe says, just as we shave our beard, even in Form 3, such hairstyles should not be allowed. Is it a crime to shave? Very soon, people will also start with tattered clothes to school. This is education. Luther King Jr. is replying to the person who said this and says, upgrade your thinking, man. Ayakwe says, would I be allowed to pour libation in school if it's my religion? Bruce himself says, Achimota is not denying the child education. If you value your Rasta than your child's education, don't blame the school. Luther King Jr. says, it's like telling a black man to bleach his or her skin before he or she will be accepted into a community. Cosmos Obi says, they are an exchange program. They are exchange program students, right? Okay. Dennis Essien says, are they not students? In answer to the first one, Cosmos Obi says that is their natural hair, but that is their natural hair too. Right. Somebody has replied. Dennis Essien has replied, but the Rasta child is wearing rig, huh? Right. Tino O'Neill comes again, says, guys, Ghana doesn't have a traditional Ghana agenda incorporated into its laws. Why can't we do certain things like in the Arab countries? Because they have established law based on their tradition. You guys are joking. All you know is MPP and this is a very valid argument, right? An appreciation of who we are and inculcating that into our laws.
Fortunately for this particular case, so far the NDC and the MPP haven't taken sides yet, so it has not become an NDC MPP. Even though I've seen some indication.
Really?
Metro TV. On Metro TV this morning, while the NDC...
Even this issue?
Yes, while the NDC guy was blasting Achimota and so on, the NPP guy was supporting Achimota. But I'm hoping that it has not become institutionalized. It has not come to that yet.
Okay.
You continue. There's something else I want to add.
I am not surprised.
Right.
I'm not surprised.
Luther King Jr. says this is pure racism against the Rastafarian. Luther King says, right, okay, I think it's a reference to somebody.
Rastafarianism is not a race. Because we have white Rastafarians, we have black Rastafarians.
No, they mean prejudice, that's what it means.
Yeah, they mean prejudice.
Osei,
but don't make it a race issue because it's not a race issue.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Osei
right.
Jamra says there's a Rastafarian in Adenta who is homeschooling his children. But this is terrible.
And Oyinba was homeschooled until recently. He went out.
I didn't want to mention it. And see how the kid turned out.
Bright, brilliant. I agree.
If the
So
child will homeschool him to university.
Yes, exactly.
I want
all the way to
best
university.
for
Wow.
Ohineba.
Yeah.
And I don't want
No, for a
our
long time,
prejudices
he's teaching
to
them in the
hold him
house.
back.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yes.
But you see, if it's a choice, it's impressive. But if you are being forced to, then that's
it's
sad,
wrong.
isn't it?
No, but if you are the only person being forced, but if everybody, 6,000 students of Achimota, nobody should have their, whether it is bushy, whether it is this, cut it to this level.
And okay, I fail to see how this cut your hair thing is relevant.
It is not
to
about the
anything.
cutting of the hair. It is not about the cutting. It's about respecting rules and regulations, and that is what
Rules and regulations does not serve us.
Colonial rules and
Because we have to
regulations.
teach our children-
Colonial
we have to
rules
teach
and
our children
regulations.
How to respect rules and regulations.
Colonial rules and regulations.
For instance, if your child goes to Achimota and they say 10 o'clock, lights out, he must turn the lights out and sleep. would he do so by respecting the school rules, or you say, no, as for me, I'm a Rasta, so 10 o'clock.
No, but we are very disciplined people.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why we are able to grow the lock so long.
Let us continue that discipline throughout. Let us respect. You see, there were so many schools, like the school you are taking your child on Monday. There were others. I'm sure there are schools which would even welcome somebody with blood all over his face and so on.
Yeah, but
you chose Achimota Secondary School, Achimota School.
So is it an elite school that dreadlocks not supposed to be in there? I mean, when you talk about it, it's so like, for this school, certain people cannot go there.
First of all, I don't see Achimota as an elite school. I don't see Achimota as an elite school, because when I went to Odan Secondary School, I have a friend who also went to Odan Secondary School, and his driver comes from Achimota School. I see it as a school. I see it as a school. Let's stop this elite school and non-elite school. Some schools, like if you go to Aquinas, they have some rules and regulations that you have to abide. My brother,
and I wore dreadlocks in Aquinas.
My brother went there. My brother was one of the first 6 formers of Thomas Aquinas with I think Edulabi and so on. Yeah, they have their rules. You go to Presec, they have their rules. They may not have the same rules as Achimota. You go to some schools in the central region, they may not have the same rules as Achimota. But I have chosen Achimota. Why? Because Achimota is a good school. Achimota has given us Kwame Nkrumah. It has given us Kofi Annan. I want the same thing for my child. And he says, no problem, we'll give you that. But to give you that, we want to take you through the same process that Kwame Nkrumah and all these people went through, so that we can give you the same.
But you know, something.
I want my child to keep it there.
Let us not remember that's the same school who took Kwame Nkrumah books and burned them in the yard.
Right.
That same school, the same kind of authorities that you have there, put all of Kwame Nkrumah books and burn them in there.
In 1966,
okay.
after the
can I read more of my messages, please? I want the viewers to have a say as well, right? Odei David says the spirit of Rasta is bigger than what you think. Patrick Essien says Ghanaians in Achimota School in particular should focus on what is inside the head and not the dreadlocks on it. Having dreadlocks doesn't make one indisciplined, as the man is trying to say.
No, I'm not saying that having dreadlocks.
He hasn't said that actually.
No, I'm saying that not obeying school rules is indiscipline.
Right. In fact, Rastafarians are the most disciplined and law-abiding people in the world. The corruption, politicians, and others in Ghana, but the corrupt, they are not wearing dreadlocks. I stand with the dreadlock students. Jar laughs, and that's from Patrick Essien. Bruce says some human rights have caused more harm to human beings than good. This kind of arguments makes me cringe. Human rights are always good. Please, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Right. The Rastafarians can pool resources together to build their own school. I don't like this argument too. Because
don't we pay tax?
We pay taxes.
I don't like this argument
That's
too.
right. That's right.
What Mr. Carbonu was saying.
They pay taxes.
Yes.
There's free education for all. They are entitled to free education.
That's right.
Let us do what entitles us to the free education or everything by complying with the school regulations.
Right. How will the dreadlocks affect the school's image? And this is from Nanai J. Right. Alfred Willington says, I wonder why we can't just call a spade a spade. The photos of those Caucasian girls with their long hairstyle are students of Achimota School. So why are black boys not allowed to wear their locks? Bruce says,
doesn't hold water. Even for 2 weeks, they'll be walking in the school and they'll be breaking those same locks.
So, thy word, princess, I love these Rasta men. Right. Kwabena Efa says the discipline check and stuff has made the average Ghanaian feel timid in doing certain activities. Ghanaians, through this discipline and checks, have cowed their confidence. Ghanaians and Africans are strong, and it's high time we started acting boldly. It goes on and on and on. Very interesting views, shared on Facebook. Unfortunately, because of time, we are unable to read all of them. But the conversation continues.
Yes.
I promise. Let's continue the conversation. Thank you so much. I've had a great time. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot.
I'm sure we're going to continue this conversation.
That's right.
After this, you guys are going to miss. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sending in your views and your comments. Don't go anywhere. Justice Apia is up next with Hot News. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Every day he has a drink filled with malt. Every day he has a drink filled with malt and milk. Every day he has a drink filled with malt, milk, and cocoa. Every day he needs the nutritious goodness of Milo. Milo, the energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved. Every day he looks after his brother and chases a bus. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, and learns new things. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, and gets back home. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, gets back home, and helps his mom. Phew. That's why every day he needs his cup of Milo filled with the nutritious goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa. Milo, the energy to go further.
From Nestle.
This advert is FDA approved.
Do you know that in Ghana, an average 70 cars are snatched every quarter?
Hello babe. What? Your car snatched? Don't worry, Jetty K GPS got us covered.
Vehicle GPS tracker technology can provide information on the exact location of your vehicle at all times on your phone. Count on Jatike for all your security needs: CCTV, biometric attendance and access control, home and vehicle alarms, electric fence. Talk to us on 0244 211 691 or 0208 800 115. Jatike Security. Be security smart. Nsuna Ebusia of Elmina Bantuma, Openyin Kojo One Girl Arthur of Elmina, Openyin Kodek of Cape Coast, Mrs. Agnes Nunu, Openyin Abaka of Abi, Openyin Isaac Boham of Takrade, Openyin Techimens of Takrade, Reverend Joseph Bat Plange, Mrs. White of Takrade, Ebusia Chiame Ebo of Elmina, and Yakol Dihia of Elmina, Joseph Abeku Anderson, Ebusia Secretary Kwesi Achel, Ko Amisa of Mori, Ebusia Batan Esumamba, Auntie Maame Araba of Bantoma Nkubiase, brothers and sisters, Nana Kokua of Bantoma Nkubiase, brothers and sisters, Pa Kofi Eson, Esi Boafo, brothers and sisters, Auntie Abrewa, brothers and sisters, Efo Ahin, and Ama Amorite, Mrs. Kondria of Commander, brothers and sisters, Nana Ekwia Atria of Abwadi, brothers and sisters, deeply regret to announce the death of Mrs. Dinah Annan, aka Mami Efwa Yakuba, aged 81. Children: Georgina Annan, Kate Annan, Christiana Annan, Patricia Annan, Perpetual Annan, Mrs. Francisca Arthur. Grandchildren: 12. Great-grandchildren: 8. Funeral arrangement as follows. There will be a wakekeeping on Friday, 26th March 2021 at Bantoma Nkobiase, 6 o'clock p.m. On Saturday, 27th March 2021, the burial service will be held at Bethel Methodist Church Chapel Square, Elmina, at 8 o'clock a.m. Interment follows immediately at Bantoma Cemetery. After the burial, there will be a family gathering at Bantoma Nkobiase. Thanksgiving service is on Sunday, 28th March 2021 at Bethel Methodist Church Chapel Square, Elmina at 8:30 p.m. All friends and sympathizers are cordially invited.
Hello, Ghana. I introduce you to the #1 combined harvesters in the whole universe, the World Combined Harvester. World Combined Harvesters are very efficient and drastically reduce post-harvest losses. It's cost-effective with low operating expenses, easy and comfortable to operate. Works well both on wet land as well as dry land. World Combined Harvesters come with automatic gear drive, diesel-powered engines, 1.77 cubic meter grain storage tanks, 2.2 meter cutting width, 360-degree unloading pipe, and a sunshade. World Combined Harvesters are best suited for crops such as rice, corn, wheat, and soya bean. To buy or hire a World Combined Harvester, kindly call the sole distributor, CAM Trading and Farms Limited, on 0546 372014 or 0278 223811. I repeat, 0546 372014 or 0278 223811. World Combined Harvesters, your #1 combined harvester in the whole wide world.
Oh, it's incredible! Bang on target!
Welcome to Ridge Royal Hotel. In the recent light of pandemic, we are taking utmost care to ensure the safety of our guests. We have to change with the times, and the hotel industry is used to change. Ridge Royal Hotel is located at #1 Second Ridge, Cape Coast, Ghana. For more information, contact +233 031 200 3222. Email admin@ridgeroyalhotel.com.gh. Ridge Royal Hotel, richly inviting, comfortably yours. We look forward to welcome you soon.
Are you looking for the quality glasses and frames that fit perfectly? Look no further. Fresh Look Eye Center is here for your eye care needs. Locate us at 37 opposite Total Fuel Station or call 050-708-5944 or 0247-612-654. Fresh Look Eye Center. Give your eye the deserved care.
Say me a beman kasankasa. Nichina minaswa kasa. Ankasa.
Say that here.
We bakwa and then it's strong enough. Bakwa say or bakwa and one which
Mr. Wasimini, with your boy,
hey, I can't yadi near more.
At Colonial Ghana Limited, our East Legon, a Champion Junction, for 0244 139 176.
Mr. Q, we are Q
Yare bakwa a higher member pa, especially ya 40 years and above no a fire prostate to me prostate enlargement and after prostatitis se okwa yare sabia na catch us PSA level echo higher kaina hu se prostate no ya tochima se hu se wochim ansa na wadwonso wodwonso na emu apai anaso edu anadwo wota adwonso and kaina hu se wonya prostate disorder. So to me didi and answer what tatinate in wapom and answer when your daily supplement bia a bit to me aboa ama prostate no ejina na nice somebody man church way a natural link company at one day pros love capsules a eboa mberima prostate true man and a dinner capsules eboa emba efrichiriko obetumi afremo.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by FDA.
Hello, baby. It's me, Boga I. What feeling now?
Hey, what funny?
Oh, what about that?
Oh my God, what's wrong me?
I'm we are fearful for Gecko.
Brother, we are finite. Here, Ruta Life.
Okay, Ruta Life.
Ruta natural product here. I am tropical herbs here. And now what's a year? Ruta Life. What about you fatty fume? No way, cleanse the system. No, my come
romantic.
Kaide, Ruta mixture, autumn some malaria, and a Ruta Titanic or Ruta natural. In Rupapa no, in Ria. Oh, ye manimpa, on in Fidawa tree. About an hour, one benufu. On ya painful.
make strides in getting their economies back on track. In all of this, diplomacy is now more than ever the bridge linking these nations as they forge ahead. Of diplomatic affairs, complex issues will be explained as I sit with global change makers to discuss the new phases of bilateral and multilateral relations between Ghana and its development partners. I will also pique your interest on the many enterprises that are forces to reckon with in their own rights. My name is Harriet Nati, and this is Diplomatic Affairs.
Morning is an important time of the day because how you spend your morning can often tell you what kind of day you're going to have. I want you to have a great day. So start your day with me because I can guarantee a great show every weekday on Good Morning Africa right here on Pan-African Television. I will be serving some inspiration, news, business, health, newspaper review, music, and so much more. Join me, Kwame Owusu-Danso on Good Morning Africa on Pan-African Television. Let's have a truly African morning. Medasi.
Truly African. Truly African.
Authority evening political show in the country. Hot news. We are live on at Pan-African Television. You can join in the conversation by sending your views, comments, and contributions on 02608465 390260846539. You can leave your suggestions, questions, and whatnot on our social media pages. We'll make a time and read all those up for you. My name is Justice Sapia, and tonight on Hot News, we are looking at the issue of alleged discrimination at Achimota Senior High School. You recall that two Rastafarians,